everybody, I'm Lindley, and I am a BFA acting major and a sophomore.
I'm Maya, and I'm a sophomore BFA acting major too. Lindley asked me about 2 weeks ago if I wanted to co-write The Light That Lingers, and I was like, okay, sure. So we started writing it, and we wanted to explore love and longing and survival and desperation through this text and through a more fantasy a realm of things. So we hope you guys enjoy The Light That Lingers.
The Light That Lingers by Lindley Argo and Mackey. Adira played by Macy Robinson, Bram played by Matthew Rankin, and narration done by me, Rechelle Davis. Scene 1. The world is in a dark wash of blue, a penetrating mass of water. Pounding currents consume the soundscape. It overwhelms our vision, our senses, and the two figures on stage, Bram and Princess Adira, whose thrashing bodies fight to keep them above water, hindered by chains yanking at their wrists and feet. Their lungs strain for air as they scream for one another.
Bram! Bram!
Even now, all he can focus on is keeping her strong. They grope desperately for each other. Bram shouts in quick bursts, terrified his words won't reach her in time.
Hold on, Adira, hold on, hold!
He's cut off by the water, folds over his mouth, forcing him to take one last choking breath. Adira's gut-wrenching cry is swallowed into silence. And then, darkness. Scene 2, we drift into a golden field in stark but not startling contrast to the jarring moment we just witnessed. It has the aura of a memory, one that has been replayed so many times that any original blemishes have disappeared, and it becomes perfect and surreal. Adira, unapologetically plain, steadies herself into a fighting stance, gripping a knife stoically as Bram, slightly scarred, studies her with amusement.
Hold on, Adira, you're getting ahead of yourself. Now, loosen your stance a bit, and relax your shoulders. Be prepared to defend yourself at a moment's notice. Where do you think they'll attack first?
I suppose my arm?
Bram pops her lightly on the side of the head, smirking. She winces, laughing.
No, lunkhead. Focus. It'll likely be your head or your neck. Always keep those areas protected. Now, make sure your knife is out in front, like so. Remain light on your feet.
Adira starts bouncing around lightly. Bram's mace swipes down at her. She dodges it. He grins.
All right, not bad.
Adira swipes at him. Bram dances away, shaking a finger at her.
Easy now.
Come on, Bram, I'm ready.
Says who?
I know. All your tricks, sly bastard. You don't stand a chance.
They begin circling one another, fighting down the urge to smile. Adira runs at Bram as he prepares to defend himself. She swoops out her foot, linking behind his leg.
Whoa!
She trips him. He falls down, stunned. She holds his knife towards him, breathing heavily. He laughs.
I did not teach you that.
I know. I made it up.
Bram stands slowly, hands up in surrender, as Adira continues to threaten him. He comes closer. Adira laughs.
What are you doing? Bram, don't you dare come any closer. Bram! Bram!
You don't know all my tricks.
He roars, and she squeals as he rushes her, tackling her into the field, her hitting him, and as he clings to her, they laugh, rolling in a wrestling match. They end up in an awkward position. Eyes locked. Scene 3. A stone-cold hall castle, menacingly humming with secrets. Bram and Adira are angled close to each other, both tense and seething. They yell at each other in hushed voices. Adira clutches a vial in her hand filled with a crimson liquid.
It's not suicide if I'm doing it for a worthy cause.
What damning evidence do you even think you'll find in his room? For all we know, he could burn every confidential missive that he receives.
We're already here slipping him the poison. We might as well have a look around.
My uncle is a very cautious man. Many tyrants always are. you'll put yourself into a trap and bring us all down with you.
Bram glares at Adira.
You need proof that he is hiding something before you try to report.
Fine, then stay out here. If I'm caught, then they won't even know you're involved.
He snatches the vial of poison from her hand, brushing past her, not aware of his surroundings. She rolls around, then notices something on stage over Bram's shoulder. She hesitates, then swiftly.
Bram, duck.
He turns to her, catching sight of the knife in Adira's hand, and bending down just in time for her to throw the knife over his head and off stage. There is a sudden darkness, as a shout was followed by a dull thud. Scene 4. Bram and Adira are chained apart in a dank, windowless cell with a square grate in the wall. Adira yells at the guards.
Tell my uncle I hope he rots on that throne.
Show care. You don't want to give him any more incentive to kill you.
It's too late for that. He'll take killing one of his men as incentive enough. Not to mention they found the poison. He's sure to execute us now.
I suppose that does put us in a rather uncomfortable situation, but I'm not concerned.
How are you not?
Well, as you know, I have been imprisoned a countless number of times, so it'll be a snap to escape once they transport us. It's somewhat insulting how much they underestimate me.
So you think we still have a chance?
What? You think I'd be sitting here relaxed, waiting around for death like it was a cup of tea? You're such a lunkhead.
Adira is relieved. She sinks back into the wall, making a face at Bram.
Stop calling me that.
Don't worry, lunkhead. You're with me. Nothing bad will happen to us.
Scene 5. A few days later, Bram and Adira are still locked in their cell, but have been fed and are in humorous moods. Bram has stubble beginning to show on his face. They pass time by mocking the guards.
I'll be honest, this is the most luxurious treatment I've ever received while imprisoned.
Is this supposed to be hell? Because it's starting to feel like a holiday. Should we make a joke about my uncle?
Let's.
Your king is so ugly.
His portraits hang themselves.
They cackle and snort. Adira looks at Bram
Are
and
you growing
squints at him.
Are you growing a beard?
Seeing as I haven't had access to my blade in 2 days, this usually ends up happening.
Turn your head. Let me look.
He does. She studies him. She hides a smile, admiring Bram's good looks.
Do you like it?
I think maybe I do.
Scene 6. A week has passed without food or water. Their initial joy has begun to dwindle, and their spirits have dropped. Adira isn't managing well, is physically worse than Bram. While he is suffering, he is far better at masking his affliction.
I need water. Water, please. Hello, anyone?
Don't beg, Adira. Never beg. It's what they want.
My mouth is so dry. And my head is fuzzy.
She starts to drift off. Bram rattles his chains, making her jolt awake again.
Don't fall asleep. You won't be able to wake up.
Bram, I'm exhausted.
I know, I am too. Just stay with me. Talk to me.
I don't feel like talking.
Try.
I can't.
She starts to dip down into sleep. Bram starts talking at her, which pulls her out of it.
I didn't always want to be a leader. I was always quiet, withdrawn. My parents taught me that I was too weak to do anyone any good, that I would be a follower my entire life.
She's listening, but barely, as if from a distant world. He knows he has to say something to make sure she really latches onto his words. He winces as he tries to sit up.
But even after I became this fearless leader, I always had this doubt living in my head. What if I was a fraud? What if my arrogance would be my downfall? I was afraid others saw the truth, but were cunning enough to lie to my face. And then you came. You treated me like I was a real threat, an opposing force, someone who could make a difference. And I knew here was someone who saw me as I know I am. Here was someone who valued my strengths and could overlook my temptation to be weak. Here was someone who could help me to be stronger.
Adira sighs, too tired to move, and looks at him with a mixture of sadness and gratitude.
I love you, Bram.
She falls asleep. Bram pushes back a sob. Scene 7. 2 weeks have passed. Bram and Adira lay limp in their chains, barely breathing, but not dead. A faint rumbling can be heard, growing steadily louder. Bram and Adira come to, looking around.
What is that?
I don't know.
Surely that must be someone on their way to save us. Bram? What is it? Say something.
The roar becomes thunderous. The cell begins to fill with a familiar haunting blue. Adira gasps. They begin straining against their chains as the shock of water pushes them over. The pressure is crushing and panic-inducing. Darkness. Scene 8. We are warmed by the glorious light of day, brilliant and whole. The street is busy and the kingdom is bustling. Adira is blocking Bram's path. She moves and grabs his arm as he tries to go around. A hood shields most of his face.
Hold on there.
Get off me, wench! You're making a scene.
I would caution you to watch your tongue, dog. If you are who I think you are, you're gonna want me on your side.
And who am I?
You're Bram Hylick, are you not? Leader of the uprising and sworn enemy to the king.
You accuse me of being a traitor.
I'm in the market for an ally.
Bram gingerly removes his hood, just enough for us to see his face, but he turns so no one can overhear him.
An ally? And how do I know you're not a spy?
16 years ago, my uncle murdered my father and stole the throne from me. I need your help, Bram Hylick, and dare I say you might need mine as well.
I don't know if you're fully aware of what you're getting yourself into, lass. If the king finds you with me, he'll despise you. He'll exile you.
She laughs, reaching out a hand to shake.
In that case, I'm Adira Whitlock. Let the king, let the whole bloody world see us together and remember.
He looks at her with respect. Shaking her hand, he smirks.
Well met, Adira. It's a pleasure making your acquaintance.
I look forward to fighting beside you, Bram.
And I with you, Adira.
End of play.